Hi everyone, I have a super simple DIY for you today. I'm making a Deco Mesh Harry Potter wreath. If you love easy, fun DIYs, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell button so you are notified when new videos come out. Let's get started on the video.
This video is part of Harry Potter collaboration that is hosted by my beautiful friend Julie from the Mug Life DIY and co-hosted by Kiki from Kiki DIYs. I will have both of these amazing DIYers channels in the description down below along with the playlist.
For this wreath, I'm using a Dollar Tree metal wreath form. And what I'm going to start with is 8 chenille wires, and they are going to go on the first 2 rings, and then 10 chenille wires are going to go on the outside 2 rings. If you are someone who likes to have everything very even, then I would do 6 right here and 12 on the outside. But today I will be doing 8 and 10. So the way I like to do this is I like to pretend I'm cutting a pie or a cake or whatever you want to take it as. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I like to do this really even, especially on the first one, because the second one is going to be 10. And that one's a little bit more all over the place. So for the first 2 rings at least, we can keep it nice and even. All right, I just got 10 more chenille wires, and those are going to go on the outside 2 rings. At the end of the day, this is going to be a nice, poofy, beautiful wreath. And I find that this is the most important part as far as when people are starting to do wreaths. This part is overwhelming for some reason. So, you know, just keep it simple. 8 on the inside, and I'm doing 10 on the outside. Okay, so I'm done with this part. I have 8 on here and 10 on the outside. And we all start this differently. Some people start on the outside and move in. I actually prefer to start the wreath on the inside and move out. Okay, so today I'm using a 21-inch, 30 feet Deco Mesh. And I got it for $2.49 on clearance at Michael's. Dollar Tree mesh, it is exactly the same, except it's half the roll. We're going to start by just bringing our outside little tail together. And the best way to do this is to use some zip ties. For Deco Mesh, I do not recommend using Dollar Tree zip ties. They're just too weak. I got my zip tie, and I'm basically just zip tying it next to one of my chenille wires, and I really like to have it nice and tight. And just this tail, I'm going to leave about 1.5 inches off. And I usually like to tuck that on the inside. We can always use some more chenille wires to patch it in place, but right now we are going to go around. I have a measuring mat, but I do like using my green mat because this mat is 9 inches from side to side, and I just add a tiny more. This is not rocket science, you guys. This does not need to be anything complicated, but make sure when you're making the loop, you're conscious of where your ends are going, and they should be going towards the inside or to be on the outside, so you have that beautiful poof. Alright, now that we have the first loop completed, I'm moving down, and what I'm doing is I'm grabbing a zip tie and I'm going to move on to the second and third row, but I'm going to zip tie my Deco Mesh on the third row, just so it's secure in this little spot. And I'm going to just use my wire cutters and cut that off. Now I'm working on the second and third row. I'm starting by grabbing my 10 inches. I got my endings on the side. I know my poof is nice and stable. And I'm moving to the next chenille wire. Once we completed our circle, I'm going to cut off about an inch, inch and a half. And this is how much I still have left. You should be able to do this with one roll of the Dollar Tree mesh. Dollar Tree just did not have this maroon color for the theme that I was going for, so I had to use it. Now I'm grabbing a zip tie and zip tying that tail in place. I secured it in place on the third row, not the fourth, because I want this tail to be hidden and not touch the side of the door where the endings can scratch. I'm going to put my wreath to the side, and I'm going to bring out my trusty mat here and a yellow Deco Mesh from the Dollar Tree. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start wrapping it around. And I need 18 pieces. Now you just go around until you have 18 pieces. So basically the whole roll. I'm just cutting along the edge and just hold it down and cut the other side. Now we're grabbing our yellow little pieces and we're going to find the middle and bring it together, kind of like we're bringing together a bow, just like that. We're just going to each one of the chenille wires. We're going to secure it in place, give it a good twist or two, and at this point I'm going to push my chenille wires down underneath the wreath. As I'm going along putting in my yellow poofs, I am trying to just open up all the loops as much as I can, and I highly recommend doing the yellow little bows a little longer than I did. I did 9 inches. I do recommend doing 10 to 12. That way they'll like go around a little bit better. I just had one roll of yellow on hand, so I had no choice but to make it, you know, the 9 inches. It's still doable. You just need to really kind of wrap it inside because this is Dollar Tree mesh and, you know, it can fray really easily. So I'm just kind of, you know, making my little bows a little tighter. complete the wreath, I have a little owl that I got at Walmart about 3 years ago. And I'm just going to attach it somewhere towards the bottom so that I can use the front of the bow to kind of cover that little clip. And that's it. And our little owl is in place. And we have a little Harry Potter wreath. I think it turned out super, super cute.